Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Spiritual Grind. We hope you enjoy it, and don't forget to follow, hit the little bell for your notifications when the podcast is posted, and follow, and share with your friends. We hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment if there's any topics that you want us to speak about.
Like, follow, share.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jenny. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. It's the Spiritual Grind, and we are alive and kicking. Good morning, Dr. Jenny.
Good morning. I have a problem.
What's that?
I don't know if we turned the
I did. I turned it off.
Oh, you're so smart.
I know I did on the way by. I did the drive-by turn off.
You're amazing.
Yes, I am. I also fixed the hood on our motor coach today.
Wow, you're martyr and martyr.
I am. I am, Mama.
You so smart.
How was your morning going?
Wonderful.
Oh. You know what I want to talk about today?
Do tell.
Timelines.
Timelines.
Yeah. You know how we as humans, we like to create our own timeline and either rush things or slow things down or throw monkey wrenches into our own self-created higher self plans.
Okay.
And how we have a tendency to, through our belief systems, create little hiccups in our timelines, or we try to speed things up. We get in a hurry, and sometimes it just ain't time. Sometimes it's past time. We just have to be able to accept and go with the flow.
Indeed.
What do you think
Unless
about that?
you go down the rabbit hole where time doesn't really exist.
I agree.
And there you have it.
You always want to take us down the rabbit holes. You sure like them rabbit holes.
I do indeed.
Well, what I'm talking about specifically, I guess, for me, is it kind of came up with me in the shower this morning, was my ability to really interfere with something I've created after the fact. Like, for example, I want to talk about the motor coach.
Okay.
We created this motor coach.
Yeah.
It was very easy and graceful to go buy it.
For sure.
I mean, it was probably one of the simplest purchases we've ever had, and it was a very expensive purchase.
Yeah. I mean, even down to
No down payment.
Even before that, going to the place.
Yeah.
In other words, we didn't go to several places.
Yeah, we went to
We
a
went
place.
straight to the place.
Yeah.
We
Had a
looked
list.
at, I don't know what, 3?
4.
This was number 4.
No, that was number 5. Yeah.
We looked at 5.
Yeah.
And when we walked on that one, we both walked in and said, oh, yep, this one's the one. Do the paperwork.
Yeah, it was like crazy because we
had all the must-haves I had checked.
And everything I wanted. It was not diesel. I didn't want a diesel.
Yeah.
Didn't want a diesel generator either.
Yeah. It's like it was just sitting there. Here I am.
Like, here, pick me. Wait, I'm here, guys, right here. And it's really beautiful. And then, I mean, how spiritually guided was it? This motorhome is 8 years old.
Yeah.
And never used. I mean, it was never used.
It is.
Even the tanks look brand new. Everything looks new.
Yeah, it's quite incredible what we were able to
discover,
manifest, and create.
Yeah. It was quite nice. It's only got 10,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
The generator had less than 100 hours on it. The inverter has, I just seen it a while ago, it has 119 hours on it, and we probably put...
No, it's new. Remember, they put a new inverter because it blew.
Oh, that's right. The inverter that was in it only had 84 hours on it.
Yeah.
And we're up to 119 on this new one. We've had it for 3 weeks, if that tells you how much they actually used it.
Right. It is quite interesting and very curious, I would say.
Yeah.
I find myself wondering, golly, gee, what happened? What happened in their bubble
The bottom of the leveling system looks like it's never been used. I was looking at it earlier. I was like, this thing looks like it's never been on the ground.
Yeah, and the white leather couches that are original,
not a mark on them,
are still just pristine.
Yeah, the
It's
captain's
amazing.
chairs, everything,
Yeah.
and everything other than stuff that would go out normally, is on it working properly.
Yeah.
But anyway, so me interfering with the timeline of it happened. It's just happened last week, and I would told the people we work with, yeah, we're gonna go camping this weekend. Totally forgetting about the relay on the air conditioning unit.
Yeah.
Totally not. We're not even prepared to do that yet with that. I have not got everything set up in it. We had some known Winnebago hood issues that I had to fix. I was trying to force a timeline.
Yeah. And
so just going with the flow. Like when it's ready, we'll just jump in and go.
Right. And I want to bring to attention what that looks like, because I think it's a nice example of how that by higher self and the nature of our mechanism will be created, and how it could be viewed as negativity versus divine guidance.
Right.
For example, we were going to go to Daytona.
Yeah.
Just so we could kind of take it out for a spin and eat at our favorite restaurant.
Krabby's Ocean Shot by the side, by the way.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's a good place to eat.
They have such good food. That was, block. Blocked is a heavy word.
My surf instructor lives there, and I called him and I said, hey, I know he has a large fifth wheel that he lives in there.
Right.
And I was like, hey, where's the a camping spot on the peninsula? And he stays at the Daytona campground, which is at the very northern part of the peninsula in Daytona Beach.
Right.
And he said that he packed up and left and parked he took his fifth wheel out of town and put it at a storage unit for the week because it's Daytona Bike Week.
Right.
And so we had this plan to go to Daytona with our motorhome that I really kind of forced the issue because I wanted to take it out. And then when everything I tried to do to go somewhere was totally blocked.
Yeah, because then we decided, okay, well, we'll take it to a little, national state park or whatever close by.
Yeah, Lithia Springs.
Where the springs are. And it was like there's no spaces there.
Yeah, first of all, they only accept motorhomes between the hours of 8 a.m. and 11 a.m.
Right.
There is no reservations.
And it's first come,
first come, first serve, and they have 16 spots.
Right.
that have full hookups. And so I was like, so you expect somebody with a 40-foot motorhome to come down there and wait in line in an area just to take a chance that you might get a spot? Have you ever I asked the guy, I was like, you ever drove one of these places and things? I mean, it's 40 foot long, bro. Come on. And the road going to Lithia Springs is a 2-lane, no shoulder.
Right.
And so I was like, y'all must be crazy. What is wrong with y'all? And he was like, I'm sorry, that's just park policy until it changes in May. Because apparently the governor signed some kind of bill. Yeah.
So, humanly, you could be like pissed off and highly aggravated.
Oh, and then I called another place.
Of course you did.
I called another place, and they were like, "Yeah, we do nightly rentals, just not this time of year because it's season started on March 1st, and so now this time of year everything goes by the month." I was like, it was like one of those things in your mind. You go wah 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 wah. Right. I'm just like, wow, I am, and that's what I came to the realization this morning in the shower was, well, I was just forcing that.
Well, yeah, and that's that's you and your higher self working together behind the scenes to make sure and not put you in a situation that would maybe not be quite so pleasant. Because then what happened from my perspective is the Winnebago hood detached.
Yeah.
It's a known flaw
in the Winnebago system. Back then, they've changed it since 2018.
Back when this sweet little fella was created in 2016. It's a known flaw.
Yeah.
And the repair of it's quite easy, and that's what we were talking about. My intelligent husband came up with the repair, but it came loose, and so we would have had loose hood issues trying to get home out on the road had we continued to force the issue and said, by golly, we're going somewhere.
Yeah, by golly, I'm taking it somewhere.
And instead, we, in our awakened state, we know that when we try, 2 or 3 times to make something happen, we come to the place of, okay, this is just not the way we roll. It's not ease. It's not grace. And for some reason, this is just not supposed to be happening. And so embracing the fact that it's just not time.
Yeah, no, that's what came to me in the shower was, I was like, well, why was this such a difficult weekend to go camping? And I was like, and then this like ominous voice came from within, like, because you're trying to make it happen.
I don't think it quite so. Did it sound like that?
No, I just was making that up for dramatic effect.
Okay.
It was like, it's because you're trying to force the issue, dummy. And the motorhome's not ready for you to take it yet. Right. Did you ask the motorhome? Right. Did you walk up to the motorhome and say, hey, Mr. Motorhome, did you want to go?
Right. Yeah.
And it was kind of like that. I don't know, that thought. And then I got thinking about how many other times do we do that on the daily?
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a minor trip up factor in that thought process that you have to be careful about.
Okay.
Because if you have a belief that things have to be so and set in a certain way and specific and perfectly correct before you can go, then it will trip you up and you'll never allow yourself to go.
Yes.
So there's a fine line there.
Oh, no.
And you have to be careful.
Totally on the same page with that.
Well, I mean, as we're speaking to the collective, I just wanted to clarify that, if you've got a belief that everything's got to be perfectly perfect in every way before I can go, then that will sometimes keep you stuck. And it's a very different vibrational frequency, so you'll have to check in with it.
Yeah.
Because that can sometimes be that little monkey mind lie of keeping you stuck in place and not necessarily allowing you to act on something too. Yes. So just be careful and check in with it.
Totally agree. What got me wondering was, how many other times do we do this in our life? And it can be the little minor things, it can be big things. And you kind of throw a little monkey wrench in your journey that you have to step over the wrench or you'll stub your toe on it. And because I had many examples that popped into my head where I interfered with things, humanly. And
do tell.
Oh, it's a bunch, but I mean, it was, but I guess it was more about the fact of why am I doing that? Why do we as humans? Because I know a lot of people that do it. Yeah. They create this journey. The journey's going the way you want it. But then we get this like human ego of it's got to be this way instead of letting it go the way it's supposed to. And then we start trying to push it into this way. And then you end up train wrecking the whole dang journey. Or sometimes you'll go on the journey and it didn't work out the way you wanted to. I'm not saying train wreck. That's a little dramatic. But you can train wreck the journey. But generally speaking, it just kind of puts you off the road a little bit, like you swerve and you hit the dirt and you hear the little on the side of the road and it kind of just slows you down a little bit. Yeah. And in all reality is if you're creating your reality based on your beliefs, like we do create our own reality. Every aspect of our life, we have created it. When we interject in ourselves instead of going with the flow with our human selves, you end up, well, first of all, sometimes you'll bump up against beliefs. You'll bump up against other beliefs. You'll have You'll have places you can't even get into when you're trying to humanly force something, and our ego gets in the way of it, and we want the journey to look a specific way. When all we're supposed to do is create it, because we're not going to be able to create something that's outside our beliefs. Correct?
Well, there is an opportunity for clarification.
Okay.
It's a little bit of rabbit hole-ish.
Oh God, here we go again.
So manifesting and creation are defined a little bit differently these days.
Yep.
You can always manifest and create the reality that you're wanting. As soon as you identify what you want, it's created, and it's hanging out there in the multiverse waiting for you to align with it vibrationally. So it's not that you're struggling to create it or manifest it. It's that your vibrational frequency needs to match it so that you can change reality, because realities are all parallel and you're just kind of hop skipping up each second.
Hot skipping and jumping.
Kind of like Frogger. Remember the old game Frogger?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that construct works.
Okay.
Just for clarification.
Yep.
And so you're popping over to this reality as soon as your frequency matches it.
Okay.
So it's not that you're struggling to create it or to manifest it. It's that your frequency hasn't quite matched the frequency of that which you want.
Yeah. Understood.
And like you said, it could be because you have an expectation or insistence that it has to look a certain way. And in your higher self creating it, it was created in a way that you can't really conceptualize with your human thinking mind.
Yeah.
And so if you have an insistence that it must look this particular way, but higher self knows that it would be a much more profound experience, and what you really wanted was for it to look a little bit different, the frequency will be off just a little bit, and it will feel like you're struggling to manifest it or to line up with it because you have a belief that it has to look a certain way. So the technique would be to, daydream about it, create what you want, but then let go of the finite details of how it must look in order for it to be enjoyable, because you don't truly know that, because you can't really conceptualize the magnitude of what it can be.
Yes.
So throw it out there, let it go, and then just
plant the seed, put it in the dirt, and give it a little water.
Right.
Let it do its thing.
And then the question comes up. I hear the question.
Okay.
Well, what do you do then to align with it?
Okay.
So what do you do?
That you're the doctor.
Do I have to do everything around here?
Yep, sometimes. Sometimes. They're giving you the question, not me, so you got to answer it. I do multiple things to try to align. Well, I do to align with my reality. One of those things that I do is I spend some time in my own self, like this morning, working on the coach. When I'm using my hands or I'm doing something that's active, I use that time for very much a meditative state for me.
Yeah.
And it lets me get checked in with and aligned with the energy of where I want to go.
Yeah.
And some people sit around and cross their legs and hold out their fingers and thumbs and sing hum. And
I was trying to decide where you're going with that. You're going to that traditional meditative state. I thought maybe you were talking about holding out a sign, like a homeless person or something.
Yeah, some people will actually meditate in front of the TV, don't even realize it. They zone out, they do all sorts of things.
I mean, yeah, you know what? The meditation is not the traditional sit cross-legged anymore.
Well, meditation.
There's people that go do dishes.
Yeah. There's meditation is when you change your cognitive status. That is a meditation. So when you go to a different level of consciousness, you are meditating.
Exactly.
A lot of
And you
people
can
don't
be
realize
doing
that.
anything.
Yep.
Driving, doing
Yep.
dishes,
Agreed.
reading a book, watching a TV show, sitting peacefully and quietly, doing a crossword.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be in that traditional cross-legged, hands on either knee with your fingers folded perfectly, monk style meditation.
I agree.
And that if that doesn't work for you, then find something that does.
Yeah, find something that puts you in that altered conscious state.
So
And I don't mean alcohol and drugs.
I don't mean chemical.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If you want to have the chemicals, go ahead, play around. It's up to you. It's your journey.
Yeah, the key to it is finding that vibrational frequency that we call joy and excitement.
Okay.
And anything that you can do throughout the day that helps bring you back to that joy, that excitement, that peace, neutrality, any of those higher frequency places, then it allows you to raise your frequency, which then will in turn allow you to align with those higher frequency realities waiting for you to experience them.
To clarify about something
Yeah.
is just a minute ago, I was telling one of our employees, because he came out to talk to me, and he was telling me about, he got this car stereo installed in his car and all this other stuff. And he took it to him, and he was saying, yeah, well, he was complaining that they didn't fix the problem. And I said, okay, well, tell me what you did. And he said, I took it in there, and I said, I think it may be this, I think it may be that, I think it should be this. You're interfering with the journey. That's what we do. It's a good example of what we do humanly.
Yeah.
You take it to him and say, figure out the problem because it's not right. And then you walk away.
Right.
And don't give them any suggestions, because then they're going to know what you're thinking. And when it's their job to fix the problem, well, you got to trust in the higher self the same way.
Yeah, I mean, if you know so much about what the problem was, then
why are you paying somebody to fix it?
Right.
it's
don't take it to somebody and then tell them how to do their job.
And I told him, I said, hey, take it back up there, tell them to fix it, and walk away and align with, walk away saying to yourself, when I pick my car up, it's going to be perfect.
Right.
And
exactly.
you get with that same energy. And so it's kind of a great example of what just happened. And that's what that was just 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. Because when you're doing that, you're creating a type of resistance.
Yes.
Of not allowing the flow.
Going with the flow.
Right. Because you think that you know better.
Yeah, because we are smart in our ego. That's what I was just talking about. Our egos jump out there and bite us in the butt.
Right.
And because we think we know something, just because we watch a YouTube video or something on it, we think we really know something. And the reality of that is you're not going to learn it that way. It's not going to happen that way until you align with the learning part of whatever it is that you're trying to learn on YouTube. But it's the same thing with your journey. And when you interject yourself humanly into it, the result of it may end up the same somewhere down the road. Like the example I just used. Now he's going to have, but in the meantime, because of his human interjection,
he's extended the time frame,
the timeline.
Right. Exactly.
And so when we get focused on the journey and we put it out there and create that reality, we have to let the higher self handle it and allow ourselves to focus on that reality. Like, when we signed us up for this cruise that we're going on in March, at the end of March, you were like, okay, what cruise do you want to go on? I said, I don't care. I don't care, because I'm just going to allow the journey to happen the way it's happened. Right. And you found a heck of a deal on a cruise for us. And we're going on a cruise March 31st at a very cheap rate in a very nice, what do they call that? Extended balcony?
Yeah. I was able to find a bunch of discounts.
Yeah, I like discounts.
Yeah, that allowed me to upgrade our, what do you call it, cabin to a balcony.
Yeah, for free.
Extended balcony thing, and excursions.
Yep, I like it.
I got to add a bunch of excursion experiences.
I like it.
For some of them free, some of them discounted half price.
Some of them not free.
So we have a jam-packed week-long experience of.
I am so looking forward to going to the mine.
We may come back exhausted because I've crammed so much into our week. We need a vacation from a vacation.
So, honey, what are we doing first day of the cruise? Bah, 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 bah. What are we doing the second day of the cruise? Bah, 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 bah. Is there any time in there for naps? No. No, you did say we have our last day or something on the ship with nothing planned.
Yeah, we have a couple of days because we have to travel out to sea the first day.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have to travel home. So that last day, because we go out, circle around the different places in Mexico, and then we come back in. So we have downtime the first day and downtime the second day if we wanted it. But there's lots of things to do on the ship.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
You know, like food to experience.
Margaritaville at sea. It's the flip-flop bar.
Yeah, I think they have a casino.
I don't know.
Well.
I believe so, but I know they
spa.
have a DJ every night on the dance floor.
Yeah,
they have. But anyway, and so that's just a prime example. We as humans have a tendency, and I'm going to go through this because timelines are in my mind today. Is we have no patience. The reason why we have a healthcare industry, now 80% of that healthcare industry is because we have no patience to heal. And so we want to be hurried up. We want to get done because the reality is antibiotics are just boosters for our own immune system. Right?
Just permission slips.
They're just permission slips.
The rabbit hole concept is that you're constantly changing on even a cellular level.
Yeah.
Every millisecond. And they're just permission slips to heal and
faster,
get better.
Because of beliefs.
Right.
And in everything in life, we do that because of our lack of patience and our ego. We will interject and do so much things in our life, and either humanly interfere or disrupt things, or just the opposite of that. Is sometimes our ego gets in the way so much that things just will fall apart because now you've altered your belief system behind what you created, and you're going to bump up against things. And it is I'm trying to figure out what point I'm trying to get to in this today, because it came up to me in the shower, and when I'm trying to figure out the words that I'm supposed to say today, or you're supposed to say, so I'm going to shut up now and let you talk. Go ahead.
Well, I think first to remember, the ego is a very important construct of the experience, the human experience. You got to have the ego.
Yeah.
In order to have
I don't have no ego.
Some of our experiences humanly, which is what we come here to have. We come to have experiences and learn how to navigate through them. And it's set up that way on purpose for growth and development.
Yes.
So the ego is a necessity, but getting to the higher levels of the game is learning how to transcend ego somewhat.
Yeah.
Depending on the level by which you decided you were going to come and play the game.
Well, I know that we all, in some form or fashion, throughout our lives, we have a tendency to have a distorted perception of what we do and how we are living and how people view us. We can get really distorted quickly. And when we have a created reality that we've given to higher self does not have a distorted reality.
This is true. So higher self's job is to have the clearest vision of what actually can be experienced.
Correct.
And what you want to experience.
Right. Your higher self, your God, your whatever you look at is, whatever you want to call it is they don't have a distorted reality. And when we as humans have a perception of ourselves that is different than what is really there, because we Most humans have it in some form or fashion. They have a perception of how they are, who they are, what they are perceived as, and what they're trying to put out. And it's much different than what people actually view you as, and or what the universe feels you are, or the energy that you're putting out. Because we can sometimes distort our reality. Like when we have emotions, an emotional guidance system that's not filled, then we're going to have a distorted reality. When we have a tendency to be paranoid and take ownership of things that ain't ours, that's a distorted reality. There's many facets of it. When you see everything in black and white or catastrophic, then that's a distorted reality. And when you try to humanly interject yourself into a reality that you're creating, that higher self is set up and got going for you, because it's based on your beliefs, your patterns, your programs, your wants, your needs, who never knows what it is. When we have a distorted reality and we interject ourselves into that reality through that distorted perspective, then we are interfering with that journey. And we will see that it's not going the way we want it to go, because we have a distorted vision. When higher self is perfectly creating it. And so we have a distorted version of what we see that higher self is creating. I dropped the mic. Damn, he's smart.
Well, yeah, of course.
Somebody needed to hear that.
But it's not necessarily a negative thing.
No. I'm not saying it is negative. I'm not saying any of this is negative. We're talking about it, so it's not negative.
The goal is to come and have experiences. And so sometimes the distortion is required within the mechanism so that you can have the experience from that perspective.
Yes.
And when you're done, so to speak, of having that experience, by experiencing the contrast and saying, okay, I been there, done that, got the t-shirt, ready to experience something else, then you'll change the distortion to a new distortion.
Yeah, I was watching a doctor.
Or you eliminate the distortion altogether and find a place of allowance and acceptance and neutrality.
Yeah.
And then what comes rushing in is the amazing aspect of that reality, and you find yourself,
when it goes so smoothly, like it's crazy good.
Yeah. It's just almost unbelievable.
Like we walk into a motorhome facility and we walk out with paperwork on a new motorhome without even thought.
Right. And it's just
we're just sitting at the desk and we're eating our lunch and we're just like nonchalantly sitting there waiting and as they get everything done.
Exactly. And it's so perfectly fitting to what we were looking for. And so I find myself thinking, golly, I wonder what the human's story was that owned it before.
Yeah.
How can it be this old and be this immaculate?
And then I find out this morning what we thought was maybe a little bit of wear and tear was actually a recall.
Yes. Exactly.
Because it has some places where the wallpaper is separating from its backing. And I called Winnebago this morning and they said that was a recall that was done in January 2017.
Yeah.
And they never brought it in for the recall and it's expired now. But it was, it's just nuts. It's like they didn't use it. It's like a brand new motorhome that we got for a third of the price.
Right. It's like it was created. It's been sitting there waiting for us to align with the reality. And poof, bada bing, bada bing.
Well, here's a good example of that same scenario is we sat out there in our patio and found motorhomes we wanted to go look at. And then we go look at them in person and none of them are the right one. And then we're literally driving back to the front of the dealership with the guy on the golf cart. And Jenny sees one. She says, hey, I want to see that one.
Right.
Just randomly out of the blue. And he said, are you sure? He said, I don't remember what he said.
Something nonchalant. He was like,
we just got it or
okay,
something.
we can stop and look at this one.
He was and he said, okay, y'all wait here. I'll go get the keys. And he came back and we both walked up the stairs into the motor coach. I looked one way. Jenny looked the others. We looked at each other and said, yeah, this is it. Just like that.
I don't even think we said that out loud. I think it was more like a telepathic kind of conversation that we had amongst ourselves. Because I don't remember saying it out loud. I just remember feeling it and thinking, oh, yeah, this is the one.
Yeah, I think it was funny because he came in with his paper on it and he sets up on the chair and And you and I both said, you don't have to read that. And then you said, yeah, I'll go ahead and write do the paperwork on it. And he kept going. And we're like, you don't have to do that. It was like, you don't have to do that. We've chosen it. This is the one we want.
Right.
It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it was such a smooth, easy journey.
It was perfect. And
until we bumped up against some beliefs about their service side of their dealership. At least for me.
Yeah, I'm not having that same experience.
Yeah. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's going well. There's nothing wrong with the motorhome, but it just gives me things to tinker with. Little things.
Well, you are a tinkerer.
Oh, tinker.
Not to get confused with tinkler.
Oh, I do that too.
Yes, indeed you do.
That would put me on
I
blast.
feel like you could be a part of the carnival. Man with the smallest bladder.
Are you my? Are you my? I don't know what just happened, but
like, I don't know how these road trips are going to look. Having to stop every 2 seconds.
no, I'm just gonna let you drive.
To tinkle your.
I'm gonna sit on the couch and watch TV while you drive.
Tinkler, sprinkler.
Hey, you know, I discovered that our toilet in our ensuite is a macerating toilet.
You would know all there is to know about the toilet. You visit it often.
I only used it once yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means. Macerator.
It means that if you put any poop in it, it destroys it before it flushes it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're
way off track here.
We are a little off track.
Well, you know, actually, we could tie it back together because the toilet interferes with the journey of the turd because it macerates it, which is what we humanly do in our journey sometimes.
Wow. Can I have a wah, wah, wah?
That was my dad joke of the day.
I don't even know what to say to that. Listen, guys, this is what I have to go through sometimes.
Yep, and you love it.
The journey of the turd.
The turd journey.
Yeah, there you go.
I want to see what the AI says about that, about this comments.
The journey of the turd.
The turd journeys. Anyway,
So, yeah, I guess if you're having a turd of a thought.
Yeah.
And you want to transcend it, send it through the macerator so that it can shred it up into just liquefy it and dissolve it away.
I'll bet you 2/3 of the people out there interfere with her journey.
No, ma'am. No, he did not.
Yeah.
2/3 of the people out there. Oh my gosh. It's getting deep in here.
Man, this podcast is slowed down to a turtle's pace.
No. Please help. Someone send help.
Oh man, this is perturbing her.
It's getting
She's
deep.
so very perturbed.
It's getting deep in here, y'all. Help.
But anyway, so let's talk about when we identify that we're humanly interacting with our journey and affecting it, what do we do about it?
Well, so I think backing up for just a second, because if I go back to a time when I firsthand was experiencing some things that were a little more bumpy than current, I can remember my less awakened state of perceiving a situation as, oh my gosh, why do crappy things always happen to me? I'm so tired of it. And so coming to a place of saying these things are not happening to me. They truly are happening for my growth. And so how can I look at them differently? And so instead of looking at them negative and holding a negative vibration about the crappy situation you're in, coming to a place of that balanceability, that neutral place, so that you can align with the reasons why the experience may be playing out the way that it is, Because if you can get to that frequency, then you'll get this epiphanal understanding of, oh, I see, that had to happen. So that could happen for this, which I am very grateful for. And, for example, wanting something and not getting it at that very moment. And then hindsight, as we like to call it, years down the road, you're like, man, you know what? I'm so glad that didn't happen because it would have brought about blah, blah, blah. And so you don't have to wait years for that information is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you could take yourself, kind of separate yourself out from the situation or the circumstance, kind of remove yourself, set aside, and view it from kind of an outside perspective instead of being in the middle of the mess and viewing it from that perspective, you could get that information right in the here and now and make sense of it, which is what we do now at this point. And so I would say become aware. Awareness is the key. First of all, I'm aware that the current situation I'm in, I don't necessarily care for. And I currently am viewing it as an extremely negative experience that I'm hem-hawing around, bitching and griping and moaning about, as if I have no control, as if I don't create my reality, as if I'm a victim wrapped up in a victimhood fear sandwich. Take yourself out of that place and try to go into that spot of, okay, you know what? History has shown me that I am always okay and that things are always working out in the best way for the highest and best good. And I have experienced that time and time again. So trust in that, trying to change your perspective a little bit, which then will align you with the solutions or the viewpoint or the information of why it's happening. What am I supposed to be learning? Why did I create this? It'll help align you to that information so that you can receive it now, not years from now, right?
Yeah.
So once you do that, then you begin to have a better understanding, and you're basically teaching yourself a new habit on how to process the information. And that then in turn, by the design of the mechanism, I keep using that word, but I just really don't know what else to call it, process,
Yeah.
is you're teaching yourself a new way of habit.
Okay.
Instead of some thing happening that you view as, oh, this is so shitty. Why is this happening to me again? The car is broken down again. I'm late to work. Blah, 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 blah. You elevate yourself to a different way of thinking, a different frequency of, okay, you know what? The car's not really wanting to start right now. There's got to be a reason why, and relax into that. Practice relaxing into that instead of getting tense and angry and frustrated. And that change in the mind, the body, and the frequency allows that higher self communication to come in and say, well, you're not supposed to be leaving yet. This is going to happen this way or whatever.
I heard every word you said.
Oh my heavens. Can you stop with the poop talk? Seriously. Oh my God. This is such a shitty subject right now.
I don't know, what a crappy way to go. No, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. And
you have to practice it though.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you. I totally agree because, I mess it up a lot.
Well, and
I say mess it up. That's a harsh word, but
it is. That's kind of heavy.
Yeah.
We forget from time to time, and we get impatient as well. And the beauty of it is not being judgmental on yourself. Just remembering that And every second of every day is a perfect opportunity to begin again.
I agree. And the last part of it is what do we do to get back on track after we've identified it?
For some reason, I didn't process what you said.
When we have created a journey and then we humanly interact and we just figure out how to identify and go through things, how do we get back on track? How do we right our wrongs, so to speak? Okay. Thanks for the answer, Dr. Jenny. Appreciate it. That was a great answer. A very good answer.
Well, I thought I answered it already.
Well, you kind of did, but I just want to kind of reiterate because I could see where people could tie that all together.
I guess I'm not clear on understanding the question exactly. So when you've realized that you're doing the impatience or the trying to force something into play, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
The initial subject we talked about?
You have to be like when prime example is when we were trying to take this motorhome camping this weekend, and every place I tried to go to didn't accept us. How I handle it is I stop myself and I say, okay, I'm humanly interacting with this obviously, and it's okay. It's not a big rush. Nobody's gonna die. We're just not gonna go camping this weekend. It's okay. Everything is all right. You take myself to a place of neutrality with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's exactly perfect on how to handle it, is getting to that place where I think probably the easiest thing would be checking with one's emotional guidance system.
Yes.
So if you're trying to put plans in motion or do something, and it seems exciting and fun, and when you step out there to make the reservations or to orchestrate
a step of the journey, whatever,
the step of the journey, and plan to do something, the minute that it begins to feel like a struggle, resistant, complicated,
that's what happened to me. I was like,
yucky.
How many places do I have to call?
That's right. The minute that the thought process changes from fun and exciting to feeling like yucky, whatever word you want to tie to that, of, oh my God, I'm so frustrated right now. Why is this going this way? That very second when that thought or that sentence comes out of your mouth, you're right. That's an indicator that your frequency has changed.
Yes.
And you might as well stop.
You might as well hang it up.
Because you will not line up with the reality that you're trying to line up with, because your frequency doesn't match.
Go ahead and flush that turd because it ain't working.
I can't. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what it is, really. It's just a turd.
Just go back and check with how do I feel right now?
Right. Yeah.
That would be the easiest, I think. No matter what, I always refer to this as a game of being in school. Pre-K, elementary, middle school, high school, graduate program. So no matter what level you're at in your awakening process, I think that technique can be used by everyone. Whenever you're following your joy and your excitement, and it all of a sudden has that pivotal moment where it changes.
Yeah.
And it no longer feels joyful or exciting. And it
on Thursday when I sat back in my chair after calling the third place and had a whole list of places I was about to call, I sat back and I was like, why is this so difficult?
That's that pivotal moment where it's like, okay, just pause. Push the pause button. Take a breath. Take a step back.
Agreed. Hold
up. Wait a minute. Let me put some boom in it.
Oh my God. Can somebody please get her a contract? Because she is going to pop off with some rap. She's going to be a spiritual rapper.
Rappy-doo. So that would be probably the easiest way.
Robbery. That was pretty funny.
We're having a Scooby-Doo moment.
Yeah.
Ruh-roh.
You didn't even catch yourself doing robbery. That's robbery the way you... I can't even do it. I don't even know how you just did that.
I don't either. That's robbery how we can easily get there.
Okay, Ruggy. Well, we have totally turned
Get
it out.
this girl a
podcast.
Scooby snack, man. She's working hard.
That's funny.
I work hard.
Anyway, but I guess, to kind of recap and get to a point of completion, I think is understanding that our journeys we create, and when we humanly interfere with them, sometimes we're going to. It's going to happen because we're human. That's what we do. We have no patience, and sometimes we do it for other reasons because we're trying to clear beliefs or whatever. But identifying it, understand it, finding neutrality in it, accepting it, and then continuing on and aligning with the vibration of what you've created. And it is really the simplest way to put it in layman terms, I guess.
By using your emotional guidance
By using
system.
your emotional
The minute
guidance
that it changes, that pivotal moment where it feels yucky.
Yep.
I do want to add one other thing, that having an insistence on the way something should go can look like this as well. If you're doing something to extract a better feeling outcome and insistent that it must give that to you, that's a form of insistence. Yeah, I understand. That was very confusing. Let me see if I can say it better.
It's foreplay.
There's a question out there. There's some question out in the collective. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I need this thing to happen so that I can. Oh, here, let me give you this example. This will explain it. I need to win the lottery. I'm desperate to win the lottery
because I'm broke,
so that I can quit my job because I hate my job.
Oh, I like the I broke one better. I thought that was going to be more fun. I'm kidding.
Well, you will never align with winning the lottery if it is being used as an insistent solution to a perceived problem.
Yep.
You've got to get relaxed about the whole concept.
Yes. When you're using that, I think that's actually a really good description, is that secondary result that you're trying to force a journey into a secondary result.
As a human solution to a perceived problem.
Yeah. Because in what you just said, I hate my job, so I want to win the lottery. So you're doing that distorted reality thought of the only way I can quit my job is to win the reality, or to win the lottery.
That's right.
And so
as long as you have that distortion in place, no matter what the topic is, you will prevent yourself from bringing yourself to alignment with that reality most of the time.
Perfect. Good job. You must be a doctor.
Nicely done.
You must be a doctor.
Indeed.
I feel complete. Do you?
I feel complete.
You always you missed them. You didn't say the normal thing. I always feel complete.
I always feel complete. I got distracted in my own head because I was trying to bring the poop around.
Oh, you were trying to come up with a way to
poopify it.
Flush this podcast with another comment.
I was trying to incorporate poop one more time, just because it's funny. Why is it so funny to talk about farting and poop? Why are farts
because
so
it's
funny?
Taboo in the human world. It's taboo, even though we all do it.
Like, listen,
every animal on this planet does it.
I know, but watch this. We go into the store and we're shopping, and if you pass gas, it's the funniest damn thing that happens. Or if I do,
or when you watch people walk through it.
Yeah. And why is it so funny? Because if we burp, we don't find that much enjoyment out of it or get that hysterical about it. So why is it that it's so funny whenever you talk about poop or farting out the other end?
I don't know why it's so funny, but it
Because
just is.
when we vomit or we burp, we don't find that as humorous or comical.
No.
We
Okay.
find it almost like repulsive and disrespectful. Like
But
if you burp at the table, people look at you like
that's because that's
you
what
have
they
no
were taught.
couth.
The only person allowed to burp is the king.
Well, I guess you have permission, King James. We spent an entire day yesterday with people calling him King James because he had our cellular service put in his title of his name when it pops up on the.
It was a nickname that my
As
old boss
King
gave me.
James.
It's King James.
So through our cellular provider, it pops up King James whenever the caller
And everybody thinks
ID.
my last name is King.
And so when he'll call somebody and it pops up, they'll be like, "Well, Mr. King, is this the best number we can reach you at?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Well, I decided that next time somebody asks me that, I'm going to start telling them, no, King's my first name.
Okay.
Hey, y'all, don't forget to like, follow, and share, and check out our website.
Thanks for playing with us.
Yeah, thanks for letting us laugh today. www.themerccenters.org.
It's been a poop of a good time.
Our social media is at the Merc Centers. And drop us an email, like, follow, share, and
Ring that bell.
y'all have an awesome day.
Love you.